Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. And you found good in abundance because you tuned in consciously and conscientiously to I on Las Vegas, where you know that you're going to meet some of the most interesting, upbeat, eclectic, energetic people in the world, because that's what Las Vegas is really all about. And I'm humbled and honored to be your host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. Now, notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy. It's the ambassador of joy. And you tuned in for one reason only. It's the best reason in the world, because you care the most in the entire world about you. You're going to be rewarded for that when you hear what Anthony is doing and how he's shifting the energy of the planet. So I want to say that I am so honored that I get to speak to millions of people every month through this podcast and the Joy of Living podcast. 500,000 plus people here. And you're always telling your family and friends, I urge you, share this with 5 people. You want to do 50 or 100? That's up to you. But at least 5 people who can touch millions of people around the world. And thank God, 25,000 people every week are joining us now. So keep the positive energy flowing. So whenever I mention to people these 2 words, Las Vegas, which I live right near, people open up their eyes and their ears. They lean in and say, tell me more, because it's the most exciting place in the world. Everybody knows about Las Vegas. Let me tell you a little data point. If you take the entire population of New York City and everybody around it, the entire population of Chicago and everybody around it, the entire population of Los Angeles, everybody around it, and you add in the entire population of the state of Florida, it only equals the number of people who come to Las Vegas in a year. 41 million people come here every single year because it's a place of energy. It's a place of doing. It's a place of action. It's a place of goodness, in my humble opinion. And you're about to meet one of the goodest people that I've ever had the chance to encounter, and he is Anthony Sardelli. Anthony, please say hello to 517,613 people around the world.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Barry. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to be had, and I'm glad that you're here because Anthony is going to be talking with us. As I said, Las Vegas is an idea. You don't have to physically be here. And Anthony is a great expositor of the idea of Las Vegas, which is energy, thinking outside the box and creating something good and new and novel and beneficial. So let's just jump right in and talk about what you've done. Before we mention nonprofit TV, hint, hint, let's talk about the overarching idea, which is really about philanthropy and media. Philanthropy and media together. What's that about, Anthony?
Well, we know that nonprofits, especially, they get much better results when they have good media. When they have a clear message and production quality is up, people just pay more attention. They also get sponsors that pay more attention because it has you're taking it seriously kind of feel. And so we work with a lot of smaller nonprofits, mid-sized ones, some good-sized ones. And we noticed that, the best performers were the ones that had the budget, had the equipment. So we wanted to try to extend that to everybody. And we do our best to offer, not only airtime, but production and things like that to just up their game a little bit and get more people to actually listen to what they have to say, because they have great messages, they have great missions. And it's just a shame to have it lost or dismissed only because, the media quality isn't quite right or the messaging isn't quite right. So we try to give them a little guidance as well as a platform.
This is interesting. Are you saying, I believe you are, that, let's be blunt, there are so many opportunities to watch things today. Everybody has a television in their pocket.
Right.
No longer, 80 inches, doesn't matter. It's there in your pocket with you all the time. And the production quality, generally speaking, for things like NFL or any other sport or any kind of movie production is of the best quality. So if an organization is trying to get its message to people and touch the heart and the mind, because you got to do both, right? The heart and the mind. And of course, what follows is the wallet. We can talk about that. You need to touch that. You better be playing in the same field. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I really am. So, it's really important because we also want this media, we give it to them in 15, 30, and 60-second packages so that we air on our network, the brick and mortar. But they can also take that to local television. They can put it on their social media. They can take it anywhere. And now it's in a deliverable form. And we don't brand it. I give it white label. I want it to be all about them and all about their sponsors or whoever is attached to them that wants to support them. So we try to make it, as easy as possible and give it the best look we can with, whatever we have to work with. If we can't get to you, we'll find ways to make things work.
Okay, again, this is the essence of what I call Las Vegas mindset. We'll find the way. You hear? We'll find out. Yeah. By the way, everybody should know that Dr. Sardelli is a doctor. As he says, like Dr. Phil. Okay, so he's not a medical doctor, even though he's a doctor that helps. And that's what doctors are all about. So here you have something called non-profit TV, right?
Right, yes, sir.
Well, who thought of it? When did you think about it? What did you do? And what is it doing in the world? Let's start with the first part. What's it all about? Where did it come from?
Well, the idea just, I'd love to say it was my idea, but I think just God led me here. It was just something that came right out of the blue. It hit me, and I'd never been to this. We're based in South Texas. I'd never been here. I did some Googling at the time, and I learned it was one of the poorest areas in the country, and I just felt led here. I had to come here. So I did pick South Padre Island. I mean, I'm no fool. That's a vacation resort. So I said, if I've got to go, at least I'll be close to something like that. And so that's where we landed. But anyway, the rest of the valley was full of nonprofits, full of great people here, and just a lot of poverty, a lot of need, a lot of colonias with people with, no voice and no utilities and, a lot of struggle. So this was a perfect place to have this idea. So I had it in my mind for a while. I was going to make it a commercial venture back east. But I decided to pack up, and I took my wife here, and who still thinks I'm crazy, but we came out here. We didn't know a soul. We didn't have a lot of money either at the time either. I sold my house. We were upside down, but I just went on faith, and I got here, and it was not an easy start. I'll tell you that. But we built it, location by location. Every time I got a little money, and I put it right back into the network, and before you knew it, we were reaching tens of thousands of people a day. And now we are throughout the state of Texas, in almost every major city. We reach over 2 million people a month. These are quality views. These are not impressions. These are real views. People are up there looking at it. I see them poking each other when they're in these restaurants, like Denny's restaurant is an anchor for us, but we've got, a lot of individual locations that are great. So anywhere there's an audience for us, a waiting room, a bowling alley, a barbershop, a restaurant, where it makes sense, we ask if we can put our system in there, which is a dedicated TV that only plays, our content. So, that leads to great. So how are we going to replace, what they may already have? So we provide a lot of things. We provide the entertainment, number one, that they're looking for: news, weather, sports, things that are interesting, as well as the nonprofit messages for that area, as well as national and wherever it makes sense, but also branding kits. So Denny's, for example, if you go into a Denny's, they asked us to put televisions in every corner, 5, 6 of them in some of them. You cannot miss it. And they love it because every store that has this, they eliminate their cable bills. So that's a big expense when you have thousands of stores. And then also branding as far as buy more pancakes, order this, order that, lots of really well done custom messaging. So a branding kit specific to all our locations, whether you're big or small. I do this for all of them because I want them to make money with it. I want them to like it. And I just want it to, to work and be able to grow that much faster. So by offering all those things, we seem to check a lot of boxes where they're happy with it, and they're asking us for more stores, and we just expanded to some more cities in Texas. And, hopefully we're going to, have a national, maybe a global imprint and that's just the brick and mortar side, which is, where we promote something new that we've also come around, which is streaming television. So we got in, I was basically invited to this great networking group, which has Mark Balin with On the Mark TV, the fastest growing Roku channel in their history. He's got, I think, a couple of letters to prove it. So he's my right-hand man on the commercial side. I love this guy. Maureen Cooper, who's with CoreLink Media, who is, phenomenal behind the scenes with the back end in television and knowing how to make streaming TV work. And then Eric Zulli with the Easy Way Network, who's in LA, who does some amazing things with, that whole scene. So together we're an interesting group. I like to think I'm, the nonprofit arm, but I think I have some things to offer, advertisers and sponsors as well. So we have these two platforms, and they reach, millions of people a month. And we've got a lot of great outcomes, a lot of great stories. And I just want to see this go everywhere it can. And I want to attach it to a nonprofit anywhere. If you don't have nonprofit TV in your area, now we've introduced franchising, where you get a nice piece of whatever monetary value we can bring in through those sponsors, go back to them. And as you get more successful with it, that percentage increases. It doesn't decrease. So my end will decrease. I just want enough to keep going. I want you and I want the nonprofits to do well. So that's my model. That's what I've got in mind. And, we've got orders waiting right now, and we're just, gathering funding and doing what we can to make this happen quickly.
So we have, thank God, a worldwide audience. I'd say 50-50 outside the United States, inside the United States. Yeah. So you don't have to write anything down. Everything is in the show notes, and it's great. The reason we copy this is you can listen whenever you want. Go back, listen again, stop it, pause it. And so in America, everybody knows Denny's. Outside of the United States, fewer people know Denny's. So let me just put it out there. Denny's is one of the largest, most frequently visited restaurant chains for we'll call it middle income dining that exists in the United States. Is that fair to say?
Number one multicultural restaurant in the world, they were ranked. So this was a recent
number one in the world. And Denny's is international, I believe.
You're right.
So you might know from other places.
Exactly.
So let's take an example here. Okay, you're Anthony. You're Dr. Sardelli. You got an idea. What do? You knock on the CEO or COO door of Denny's, and you walk in, you show them this, and they say, "Oh, great, Anthony, put them all in." Is that how it worked?
Well, it wasn't quite that easy. So, we had built up a pretty good network locally. We had supermarket chains and things like that, smaller ones, but, they reached quite a few people. And we weren't the only candidate. There were some digital signage vendors where, these are just advertisements. There's nothing else really on there that were, bidding for the same contract. And, I decided to throw my hat in the ring. And I think there was 4 or 5 companies all, vying for this position. And at the end of it, we all make our pitch. We all tell them what we're going to do. I share, what I wanted to do with them. And I got the call back from, at that time, it was a franchisee owner. And he said, we're going to give you, and he had, a lot of stores here in the Valley. So he said, we're going to give you the contract. And, he was pretty happy about it. And I said, and he goes, would you like to know why? I said, I really would. He goes, it's only for what I've seen you do in this community. And I've seen how you give back. No one else does that. And that's something that's really important to me personally. And he is a great guy. And he basically from there, it spread to some other owners, some other, corporate stores bought out some of the franchisees. So when that switched over, well, that was stressful. I didn't know if they were going to keep us or not. They loved it, and they asked for more. So we're really happy to have that.
But I think people are hearing what I love most. When you went to speak, first of all, is to a franchise owner.
Yes.
Right. And he said, I've seen what you do.
Yeah.
You make a difference. You hear that? Anthony Sardelli is a madman. Everybody who watches me knows that MAD is an acronym that stands for make a difference. So we're going to make a difference. Dr. Sardelli, who'll be right back after this brief message. We have sponsors that love us. We vet them. We wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they're worthy of your time and attention. Be right back. Don't go away. Dr. Sardelli's in the house. Opportunity. What an opportunity. I'm going to use 2 4-letter words right now. Free gift. Free gift. Yes. You can have a copy of my best-selling book, The Joy of Living, How to Slay Stress and Be Happy, the ebook version for absolutely free. All you have to do is send an email to me, Barry, Barry, at barryshore.com, and in the heading, the subject line, just write, free gift. It's as easy as that. This is a life-changing, life-enhancing opportunity. Barry at barryshore.com. You'll be glad you did. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Free gift. Do it now. Take the action. Make it happen right now. Best wishes. Bye. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking. You're always looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance. Our cup runneth over with good. Dr. Anthony Sardelli. He and his wife are the brains, the tummy, the heart of nonprofit media. That's what it's called, right? Nonprofitmediasolutions.org. Again, it's all in the show notes. I don't write anything down. Nonprofit TV. So you were just telling us this great story of going into a Denny's franchise owner. I don't know if he owned 2 or 20, didn't matter. The point is that there was a contract available, and people who are in the digital signage business. Let's be blunt. What is a digital signage? Well, I guess a billboard is not digital, except when it is. It's just there stationary on the highway, freeway. And then there's a lot of stuff that shows commercials and, advertising, blah, 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 blah. And comes along Dr. Sardelli, not just with a twist. The twist is, this is something beneficial. This is something that's good. This is something that helps everybody. It helps Denny's. It helps nonprofits. By definition, the profits help people. This is what we call the ecosystem of good. You might want to write that down, Dr. Sardelli. This is what we're doing. It's an ecosystem of good. And therefore, what you are bringing to any place that has an audience, whether it's a nail salon, like you said, a bowling alley, restaurants, obviously, where people are sitting for a little bit. I can see this replacing CNN at airports.
Thank you. That is my goal.
Okay, well, we'll ask it at the end. But it makes so much sense, CENTS and SENSE. So let's talk now a little bit more about what your call to action is. What is it that you actually do in, let's say, Denny's? You got a family of 5 people. They're sitting there, they're talking and they're looking up and they're seeing something for the, the Make-A-Wish Foundation or Special Olympics or,
right.
Things that people either know or don't know, or something local to their local place, local pet shelter and so like that. Looking it up and it's a 30-second and say, wow, look at that. It's interesting. It does 3 things, in my opinion, but I need to have you tell me. It makes an impression. It may even lead to some action. Is there any way that you can actually track and see what's going on?
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously we don't have click-through rates or things like that in this, public space, but just talking to the venues, talking to the nonprofits, they will tell you that the results are, they're unmatched. I mean, we perform better than local television only because we have the frequency that goes along with, the exposure. So not only do we have basically a captive audience, we have the frequency. So our programming, it moves quickly in the public space. They're 3 or 4 minute segments. They might have a 30-second PSA for, say, a Make-A-Wish event. We may go film that event and then afterwards show a 3 to 4 minute highlight reel. That's, we try to style it where it's beautiful and people really want to look at it. So we do our best with what we have, and we've gotten some great reactions from it. They love the work. We worked with Tim Tebow Foundation for Night to Shine, where they do this prom all over the world simultaneously for special needs kids. And they took some of our footage, and I guess they liked it enough to use it. So that was a nice compliment for that. But I'll tell you, it's as far as news, weather, sports, and all these things that you'll see floating across the screen that will get your attention and keep you watching. The ones that mean the most are those events where we'll film them. And there is one that stands out for me is with Make-A-Wish, where we basically I convinced my wife to give up her little convertible, which was a little Miata, which took some doing. I had to buy her a new car. But anyway, we took this car and it needed some work. It wasn't perfect. So we went to the community, the tire guys, the auto body guys, 4 or 5 different businesses. And we asked, hey, would you get involved in this project? Help us restore it. Because what we want to do is auction it off and raise money for Make-A-Wish to grant a wish. And they all did this. Pueblo Tires, Denny's, of course, got involved, some local businesses. And the car came out beautiful. We partnered with the local bingo halls where there's a lot of gamblers, which you might, have some familiarity with there in Vegas, understand that appeal. So we auctioned these tickets off for, I think it was $100 a ticket. They sold out quickly. And we basically raised, I think it was $15,000 for Make-A-Wish. Guy was real happy with the car. But the best part was after we gave the money to Make-A-Wish, I went and filmed a couple of the wishes. And one of them was a little girl that was here locally. These people, these children are terminal, many of them. They don't have a lot of time left. So these wishes are really important. So her wish was she wanted her own playground set. So they built this beautiful custom playground kit, filled it from top to bottom with toys. And to see this little child come out with all the giggles and smiles, it just breaks your heart and warms your heart at the same time. So that's what I chase. That's what I'm after, to have that happen everywhere. And so that's the outcomes that I really wanted to see happen. And then on top of that, everybody watches this, everybody pays more attention, they start donating, and suddenly their funding problems become a little bit smaller.
The ability to touch the mind and the heart, and again, a little bit of pocketbook, to be able to bring about generosity in the world, because that's what nonprofit TV is really about. The ability to use media, in this case, you went to the event, you said it, put it up there and such, and people watching it, and to be able to obviously segment it in such a way that it's for the local. So everything becomes hyper local. Therefore, talking to me, not that national things are not great. When you talk about helping the local pet shelter or the local Make-A-Wish, or local Special Olympics, et cetera, now you're talking about real people, real situations. They may be eating across the table from you, another table right over there. So that to me is really wondrous. And what I'm asking now is, you say all efforts matter. And I think that's really correct, Anthony, is that the ability to make something happen. I'd like you to say, are people now knocking on your door? Are businesses coming to you and saying, hey, we've seen this, we heard about it, can we put one in our nail salon or things like that?
Yeah, it is. And we've got a waiting list now where we want to expand. And it's different when you go from your own backyard to the big wide world. Things get a lot more expensive and to scale costs. But luckily, the back end is easy to scale for us as far as all the computers and things to really make it work. We've got it down. We've done it enough years now where it's pretty easy for us to do that. So yeah, we just need to raise enough funds to just fill these orders. And we just kind of popped our head up, and I'm not really much on social media. I don't do much on that at all, but luckily my partners here are. But as soon as we kind of let everybody see us and told people about it, it really took off. It was such a, when you're working all by yourself, kind of in a dark corner in the world, you don't know what's going on. You don't know if people are interested that much. You know what you feel locally, but even locally, it's been here a while. It's not super exciting, but they like it and they love it. But when you go somewhere new, the excitement is just unbelievable when they see how much it can do for big and small organizations. And like you said, checks all these boxes. It gets really, really interesting. So that's where we are now. We're just really doing a lot of things to make everything better and to really improve that. But we want to expand our footprint. So we have streaming television, which we're really excited about. That's got a lot of growth potential too. But brick and mortar is something that I really, it's different. It has a different effect on people. There's something about watching something in a crowd that creates some excitement that you just don't get when you're on your couch. So I really like that kind of dynamic. And now I have both. So I'm really fortunate, to be able to do that.
On a boat, I'm going to plant two seeds with you, and you mentioned something about the excitement of the crowd. We call that auction fever, even if people aren't bidding, just the excitement of the crowd. And so have you contacted cruise lines?
No, there is a long list of people I want to contact, and I also so they're coming. The people are coming.
A few. Is this proprietary? And not is it? What is proprietary about what you're doing?
Well, I developed everything from scratch myself. So all the programming, all the things that make it go to the, from the computer coding to the actual production work, I had to kind of learn all those things, so, I think we've got a pretty good handle on that. So yeah, that's all our own. I don't lease software or anything like that. It's all, things that I've created myself. I'm really proud of the way that works too, because even if the internet fails for a while, the pictures will still work. There's a power outage, it comes right back on. These might sound easy for engineers to do. I'm not an engineer. Right. This was difficult to solve. So, but I was just determined where, problems aren't going to stop me from doing anything. They're just there to be overcome. And it might take me a minute, but we're gonna do it. So yeah, all this is turnkey now. We hand it off. Our our boxes are about the size of a deck of cards, the computers that make these work, and we pop those in, and they're fully automated. You don't have to touch it from then on in.
So I want to emphasize something you just said. Again, we have listening audience throughout the world.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to live in America. And yet they don't have to, because what I emphasize is that it's called the American mindset. Problems are wonderful. We call them opportunities. Challenges are great. What do we do about it? How do we solve? Isn't that what this is? That's what America's about. That's what Las Vegas is about. That's what you're doing. I just want to make sure that you don't have 2 or 3 big muscles come in and push you away and do what you're doing, even though they're going to be doing something good for nonprofits. I just want to make sure that you own the space and you got the muscle. That's all.
Yeah, we've got a great board. And, like I said, some of those people I mentioned, Mark, Maureen, they're on that board. And so we've got some other people that are on there. Some people have been in television for many, many years. Anyway, it's just a great group. So that just happened last year. It was pretty much just me and a couple other supporters. But now I have active, board members that are really serious about making this go. And it's just such a blessing, just to have that kind of support and find people that actually, care. It's
right.
You just don't realize it. If you don't talk to people, you'll never know. And I wasn't really talking to a lot of people. I just had my head down. I'm a veteran. They give me a mission. I just, I go do it. I'm not there to, stop and have fun and make friends, even though I probably should. But that was the mentality. That was the only way to make it go by myself. But now with these great people, they let me do what I love, which is just pointing a camera at so many fantastic people out there doing great work and share it with the world. I mean, that's the gift that I was given, so I'm just looking forward to doing as much of that as I can before, I leave this rock.
I like that. I like this quote that you mentioned to me. When I leave this rock and I reach the pearly gates, I just don't want to hear, nice try. What I do want to hear is, yay, Anthony!
It's true. Yeah, that's a true statement.
Speaking of which, I have a little acronym for your name that I wrote during the break. Can I share it with you?
Sure.
Awakening Nonprofits, Transforming Healthy, Ongoing, Natural Yearning.
I like it. I like it.
Well, that's what we're doing. Creating, allowing people to say, everybody wants to help, right?
Yeah.
But
you can help by just watching our streaming channel. You go to Roku, Nonprofit TV. You can find us there. You go to On the Mark TV. We're a sub channel there. Also our website, which is nonprofitmediasolutions.org or nonprofittvnetwork.org. All the good ones were taken. But you can find us there, and you can see these things.
Yeah, just go to the show notes. It will all be there.
Yeah.
I'm loath to say these words, Anthony. We're coming to a close on our time together right now. I have 3 quick questions for you. You ready?
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Number 1, will you come back again?
Of course.
Thank you. Number 2, Dr. Anthony Sardelli. You only have 60 seconds to answer this question. What is your most fervent desire?
My most fervent desire is to have legacy, is to have this continue on past me in the hands of good people that care as much as I do, because I'm real and there are real people on our board, and I want more real people, not only wanting to chase dollars, but really wanting to uplift people more. I know we need money, but what I want to see is, is people with that mentality that just really want to see that happen. So that's what I want to see. That's my wish.
And this is the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We are the Make-A-Wish Foundation, making it not terminally ill, terminally well, eternally well. And number 3, may I give you a hug in front of 522,817 people around the world.
Absolutely.
Okay, hug stands for heartfelt, unlimited giving. 1, 2, 3. Remember, you're listening to I Am Las Vegas, the humble host Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. And we have a blessing from wonderful Anthony and Barry. And the blessing is, go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Anthony, don't go away.